What's up, everybody? It's CMP with Craftmaster Productions and ProducerCourses.com. Don't forget to stop by Producer Courses, pick up your premium membership. It is 50 cents a day. Also, don't forget to stop by CMP Kits. Get yourself a copy of the new Analog Mafia Analog Lab preset bank out now. 50 presets for dark trap, kind of like the loop that we're going to be breaking down today. All right, so the first thing that I did was I wrote this pattern with this Analog Lab preset from Analog Mafia. This is called New Superman. It's from the Keys, Evolving Keys section. What you should already notice from listening to that is this sound already has that pitch shifted texture kind of built into it. A lot of the times what I'll wind up having to do, like prior to having this preset bank, is, I'd have to put a whole bunch of different types of processing because that's already taken care of in the preset. I mean, I'm not doing anything to this except putting a little bandpass filter on it, getting rid of some of the extreme highs, getting rid of some of the lows, and just really taking what I want. That's because the next sound that I chose to add on to it was this piano sound. And for the piano, I'm just using reels. I always take the hiss and the motor sound away, crank the harshness up for a little bit of distortion. This piano, the V3 that comes out of Analog Lab, it's really super clean. To get more of the modern loop texture, you're gonna want to roll off some of the highs. I don't really use it a lot for the wow and flutter aspect of it. It's just more as a filter. All right, the next thing that we added was Omnisphere, and I'm just layering the same notes that I did from the piano section, and I'm just dropping it down an octave to kind of thicken it up. I'm using the Rhodes LA Custom on this, and I'm using the UAD TS Overdrive because I just want to get like this nice distorted sound. It's not a feature, but when you stack it with the piano, that little auto pan gives it a little bit of space, and then when you put the high frequency from the Analog Lab preset, and a lot of people will probably stop with the analog preset and the piano, but when you take the time to, use an EP and just add that little bit of movement, it's just stuff like that makes the quality of your samples stand out so much more from people who are just not putting that type of effort into it. So once I had those three sounds, I'm moving on to the arrangement. Now, when I do sample sessions inside Studio One, I have a couple of arrangement templates. The one in gray, you'll see I have it labeled intro, high melody, strings pad, hook 2, and halftime, right? And we'll focus on this particular arrangement. The way that I came up with this is from analyzing producers who I like. I was looking at this Des Wright pack. The way that he does his arrangements is really cool. So I'll just kind of have this set up so that I know what the next step is going to be in the process, right? If you haven't use this method, don't just dismiss it assuming that it's going to make your music repetitive, because I promise you it will not. It's just a roadmap on how to get to A to B. I know the next section I'm going to want a high melody, so I use this one shot inside Drop Designer, which is the best one shot player. This is from the 44th floor. It's just a bell, and I'm stacking it with I'm using the bass notes from the piano melody, and I'm using the top notes from the Analog Lab melody put together and getting this texture. And again, because I already have that pitch shifted type of trap sound already baked in from the Analog Lab preset, I don't have to put a whole bunch of effects on this. I just wanted this to provide that extra bit of high frequency so that when the producer hears it, they're gonna listen to this and be like, okay, I can make a beat with this. Then once this part comes on, they're gonna be like, oh, there's a hook. Once you've got them to listening to the second part, then you want to take that third part and really switch it up on them. So what I'm doing again, this is the same notes from the lower half of the piano. This is preset from Sonic Extensions, the Unclean Machine. It's called Crystal Tapes. Definitely one of my favorite sounds right now. It's just a really dirty, distorted bell, and I'm stacking that with these strings out of analog strings from Output. All right, so let's get a vibe off of this. So you hear we still got the same chords, but you're missing the pace of the melody, and it kind of gives this a different vibe. So you could see, if you were laying this out on the beat, you could have one drum pattern here, one drum pattern here, and you're starting to get like a really unique, like, that Metro Boomin Heroes and Villains level of switch ups, right? But we're not done yet. So I have this next section called Hook 2, because when I write my beats, I like to have, a main hook pattern and then a hook pattern that kind of switches up. And what I typically do within this template is I will take the strings pad section, copy and paste it over, and then take a couple sections from where this high melody comes in, and that's how I got this pattern here. And then probably my favorite part of using these templates is I always bake a switch up into my loops. So this section, I have it called halftime. Basically, the trick I use here is I take and I will highlight all of these. Inside Studio One, it's really easy to do this. You highlight all these, and I have a key command to where it'll bounce, it'll mix all of these down and then make it a new audio file automatically in the session, right? This is what it sounds like at first. So what I do is I'll transpose it up 7 semitones, which is a fifth. And whenever you're making switch ups, if you transpose 2 semitones, you're going to have something that sounds awesome. If you transpose 7 semitones, you're going to have something that sounds awesome. And if you transpose 5 semitones, you have something that sounds awesome. Those are, different common scale degrees. If you want to learn more about that, sign up for producercourses.com. Maybe check out Sample Class. I go in depth into all that kind of stuff. Once I have this, it's really abrasive to the ears. It's not like, and instead of putting a bunch of like soothes and filters on it, the first thing that I'll do when I hear that tone is I'll put halftime on it and just see what I get. The master bus processing for this, and this is pretty much consistent on all my samples lately, is I have a shelf EQ. This is for high and lows. I'm not really doing anything with it on this beat, but just sometimes at the end of the beat, I'll be like, it sounds kind of dark, and then here I can just lift up the highs really quick, or if it sounds a little low, a little weak, I can boost up the lows down here. It's kind of like for thickening and brightening. I didn't need it here. I've been using the black box plugin a lot. I got this for like $40, and it's awesome because it allows me to, when you unlink the parameters and you go into mid side mode, you can add like this analog harmonics, the way that I use it, to the mids and the sides, right? So for the sides, I'll go a little bit more on this air right here and a little bit more on the triode. So the way that my ears hear it, and I could be completely wrong, but I'm just going off of ear right now. I haven't read the manual for this one yet. This is kind of, the triode is kind of like saturation on like the low to the high mids, and the pentode really works more of the highs. So without it, this is what this loop kind of sounds like. I mean, you could just hear how it kind of just jumps right out at you. It gets more of like this more pronounced, like crystal clear vibe. The last thing that I do, I use the wave sound shifter. The way that this pitches stuff, it reminds me my MPC 2500. The way that that sounds, it reminds me of like an ASR, the like that type of old like 15 16-bit pitch shifting. It's not the best algorithm. It doesn't sound as good as Ableton or FL Studio or anything like that. I purposely use it to get more of like a vintage vibe. And I won't do any crazy type of pitch shifting because I don't want it to be, have develop a bunch of artifacts. Just one semitone up or down, and then we're pretty much off. And that's it for the mastering processing. What really sets this off is being able to start with that Analog Mafia Analog Lab preset bank, because again, you start out with the sound already baked in. You don't got to reach far for the vibe. You're already in the universe of this type of sample. Then it's just a matter of, okay, can I get a lead melody on top? Can I put some high frequencies? How do I thicken it up? And I mean, guys, this took me like no lie, 18 minutes to make. So I definitely recommend stopping by CMP Kits and checking out those presets. If you guys want to know about making more samples, look into sample class, sign up for producercourses.com. It is 50 cents a day. Keep it simple. Don't be basic. And we'll see you on the next one.